Welcome to The Cards Made Me Do It, your gateway to the mystical realm of cardology. I'm Ayafa, here to explore how this esoteric science intertwines astrology, numerology, and the wisdom of the cards. Join me as we navigate life's mysteries through the lens of lunar cycles and celestial energies, unlocking insights that guide our path. Alafia and Happy New Year. Lunar New Year, that is. I am looking to explore this next year's lunar cycle. Right now, we are in a Nine of Hearts year, being that it's 2025. And the Lunar New Year just started on January 29th. And the reason I chose to do, the lunar cycle, number one, for me, the lunar cycles hit more personally, especially with my moon being in my first house. So that's one reason. Number two, I think the lunar cycle definitely energetically reflects what happens with society on a day-to-day basis, how the phase changes every minute, basically. But or we go through different phases of the moon, hour by hour, however many hours. So then the lunar cycle is something that's universal. Depending on where you go in the world, sometimes people follow different calendars. Sometimes people are in completely different years, depending on what part of the world you're in. But the one thing that's constant is the lunar cycle. So let's dive in. Another dope thing I wanted to add is that the lunar cycle itself also has 13 full cycles. I hope I got that right. And I find that, really synonymous with the fact that your birth spread has 13 cards in it as well. We're not going to go that deep into it. Like I said, we're doing an overview of this. So this is what I found. Another few tidbits is that I'm not mistaken. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because this was a lot. But it's interesting because it follows a pretty good pattern for most of the year. Almost every other card is either red or black, but that's besides the point. So let's get into this first one. On January 29th, the new moon in Aquarius will be happening on a Jack of Clubs day. Now, this already happened for me because I attempted to record this yesterday and I'm still working out the kinks and I accidentally deleted it. So I'm re-recording this on the next day. And for me personally, the Jack of Clubs, universally, the Jack of Clubs is the wordsmith. It can also be a card used for like hip hop, spoken word, and stuff like that. And the new moon went into effect not long after Mercury was conjunct Pluto. So I felt like that was saying a lot of things with your chest. Not following the script really was saying what comes to mind. Transformation by way of words with that Mercury conjunct Pluto, and that's on a global scale. It's definitely calling us to speak on issues that are intergenerational, on a global scale. And, I found that to be true, and we're still going to be in that energy, a few days after. So it might be something, that's going on, if not directly affecting you, it could be affecting the world around you. So the next one, the full moon following that will be February 12th. And that'll be in Leo on a King of Diamonds day, which is financial mastery. Now, the way I follow new moons and full moons are kind of like wild cards in a sense. But the way that I follow lunar cycles is, to me, new moons are for ushering in newness. It's new. full moons are the peak of that. So that's why I'm like, it's kind of like a wild card. A lot of people like to work with the energy of the full moon. They like to charge crystals and whatnot. But following right after that full moon, that's also an excellent time to release. So if you were trying to bring in some financial mastery, to me, that would be like, what are you willing to release after that full moon? Sort of like my faith, and this is not denominational or anything, but my faith, you give ebo. That ebo is meant to be what's the word I'm looking for? Transformative. You transmute that ebo to call down or bring in, or ebo is offering, if I didn't already say that. But you use that ebo to call in what it is you're trying to get here in the earthly realms. All right, following that, the next new moon will be February the 27th, back on a Jack of Clubs day, but this time that's going to be in Pisces. And so on that day, that's going to be shortly after Mercury sextiles Uranus, giving us a second chance at communicating something on a higher level of consciousness. And I say that because Pisces is a culmination of all of the signs. It's the 12th house. It's a culmination of all of the signs. And Pisces usually has so much knowledge. It's innate knowledge. I'll just keep it there. Pisces has a lot of knowledge. They come here with a lot of knowledge. I'll leave it at that. So I feel like, with that being in Pisces this go round, that gives us a chance to possibly reiterate something again or to get it out a little bit better. So following that, March the 14th, we have our next full moon in Virgo on a 9 of Diamonds day. And the 9 of Diamonds is the card of universal values and philanthropy. Virgo, if you do know or don't know, Virgo is being of service. Later that day, the sun is going to sextile Uranus, which can help us to release older perspectives with the mindset that new ones could be good. I think it's definitely calling. And then that's also like no. Getting ahead of myself. I'll leave that one there. Take with that what you will. The other thing to note about that, going to be something else. My bad. So following that one, the next new moon will be March 29th on a 7 of Clubs day in Aries. Now, this is going to be during a Mercury retrograde period. Mercury retrograde, it's a time where a lot of chaos can ensue. A lot of retrogrades, a lot of chaos can ensue. I have to look at everything and see if we're also going to be in a Mars retrograde and or a Venus retrograde at this time. Mercury retrograde, as I have become wiser, has become a good period of reviewing, redoing, and reflecting for me per se. So I've learned to use that energy to better myself personally. But on that 7 of Clubs day, and then later that day, Mercury is conjuncting Neptune during the Mercury retrograde in Aries, the moon in Aries. I just want people to be mindful of the words that they say and how they say it. You should probably think on that. I don't tend to like to have super serious conversations during the Mercury retrograde period because a lot of times you will have to come back to it again. But take with that what you will. Following that, we have a full moon on, April the 12th, and that's in Libra. And that's going to be on a 9 of Diamonds day again. And that's not long after the sun is conjunct Chiron, about an hour or so after Venus goes direct. So yeah, I was correct with my first statement. Yeah. The next part of the year, the next full moon is going to be on April the 27th in Taurus on another 7 of Clubs day. And remember, that's going to be the card of the influencer, having faith and viral information. We have a few of those days where it's going to be some viral information probably popping up. I forgot to say that for that new moon on March the 29th, but it probably will be some viral information popping up, and we might be coming back to that information, maybe to fact check it, hopefully, on April the 27th. Following that, on May 12th, we have our full moon in Scorpio on Seven of Diamonds Day. And Seven Diamonds Day is spiritual values over material values. And that's the interesting thing about that card is that is one of the semi-fixed cards, meaning it only swaps places with one other card, and it's on its own schedule. I don't want to say the wrong schedule, but it switches only with one other card for life every once in a while. And so that happens right before Mercury squares Pluto. And it's in Scorpio. So it's going to be some words. It's going to be some words. It's already a lot of stuff being said depending on where you live, depending on what affects you. But a lot of people, at least a lot of people that I know, care about the world as a whole. It's going to be a lot of things being said. But I digress. Following that is the new moon on May 26th on a Six of Clubs day in Gemini. And the Six of Clubs is the card of the messenger, or I like to say the divine messenger. Or it's probably said by other people other than me, but the divine messenger, that reminds me of SU. If you know, you know. And Gemini is also about communication. It's ruled by Mercury, if you didn't know that. And so earlier that day, Mercury sextiles Neptune. So this day to me is like the epitome of getting some spiritual downloads, getting spiritual messages, and what are you receiving about what actions to take? What's the next steps are you supposed to take in your life? This will be a great day, in my opinion, to meditate, go out grounding, depending on where you live. The weather's probably breaking. Probably a good day to go put your feet in some actual soil, or stick your feet in the river. That's what I like to go do. But that's definitely a good time to receive some messages and get some insight from the universe, spirit, whatever it is that resonates with you. Following that, we have the full moon on June the 11th in Sagittarius, in the Six of Diamonds day, which the Six of Diamonds is about karmic settlement and slowing down. And then later that day, Mercury is going to sextile Venus. Yeah, reaping what you have sown comes to mind for me for that. Yeah. Following that, we have a new moon on June the 25th on a Five of Clubs day in Cancer. And the Five of Clubs is the seeker of enlightenment / the wanderer. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people are traveling, trying to break away from the norm this time of year. So I will be mindful of that. And I feel like I used to work in the airport. And yeah, it's a busy time of year. And so just be mindful of that if you're like planning on booking some flights and stuff. Following that, on the July the 10th, we have the full moon in Capricorn on a Five of Diamonds day, which the Five of Diamonds is the card of financial roller coaster finances. It can signify a change in work and business and, your home and whatnot. What I'm going to say about that is don't write a check on the new moon that your ass can't cash come the full moon. So be mindful of that. And, that's in Capricorn. Capricorn don't play about their money. They are business, money, savvy, all that stuff. So make sure you plan well. Our next lunar cycle is during Mercury retrograde, and that next new moon falls on July the 24th in Leo on a Four of Clubs day. The Four of Clubs is all about peace of mind. So during a Mercury retrograde, especially, you want to keep your peace of mind. And if you, for those that don't know, because I don't think I said this earlier, Mercury has to do with your thoughts. It can have to do with traveling. I definitely like to be mindful of traveling around Mercury retrogrades and transportation every Mercury retrograde, and I swear that I purchased my car during the Mercury retrograde because I swear every Mercury retrograde, some dumb light comes on my car. And I bought my car brand new, so I shouldn't be having those problems, but I digress. Like I said, that's about peace of mind. And earlier that day, the sun is going to trine Saturn, and the sun is also going to trine Neptune. The next full moon is August the 9th in Aquarius, and it's still during the Mercury retrograde. It's on a four of diamonds day, which is about solid values and foundation. Later that day, Mars will be opposing Neptune. There's a lot I could say about that, but I plan on going into more detail with these things at a later date. Yeah, you still want to be grounding, grounding yourself, keeping grounded during the Mercury retrograde, especially when Mars is doing anything. And did I mention that was an Aquarius? My bad if I didn't. Following that, we have the new moon on August the 23rd in Virgo on a Three of Clubs day. The Mercury retrograde should be over by then, but we could slightly or possibly still be in the shadow period. Fact check that. The Three of Clubs is the card of creativity, self-expression, magnetism. This will be a really great day to do anything written, especially with it being in Virgo, because Virgo is also ruled by Mercury. Be a great day to jot down any ideas that come to mind. I don't care how far-fetched you think it is. Following that, on September the 7th, we're back to a Four of Diamonds day, this time in Pisces. We have a few transits that, the water bearer Aquarius, which is an air sign, not a water sign. It flows into Pisces. So I find it interesting. I'll look more into that. So following that, the next new moon is September 21st, and that is back in Virgo on a Three of Clubs day. I gotta look and see if that's technically a new moon, but not a new moon, a blue moon, but because we get two new moons in Virgo this year, and they're both on Three of Clubs day. So again, you definitely want to be mindful, and if you can be by yourself to let the creativity flow, I would definitely do that. That's something I would definitely go outside and like ground myself, or go to my favorite creative space and just do something along those lines. Earlier that day, the sun will be opposing Saturn. And then the following full moon will be October the 6th in Aries on a Three of Diamonds day. That's all about financial creativity and thinking whatever you wrote down or should have been writing down on that Three of Clubs day, that might be able to manifest you a little bit of money, something. Let me know. Break me off something. So after that, Venus is going to sextile Lilith. I don't normally touch Lilith, so I'm still learning a lot about Lilith itself, but that's good to note. The next new moon is on October 21st in Libra, and that's going to be on an Ace of Clubs day. The Ace of Clubs is all about new thoughts and new goals. Yeah, no other major transits I see happening on that day. That's not to say we're not already going to be in a major transit when I don't mention any transits of the day. I still haven't looked at that whole thing. I plan on breaking this down quarter by quarter and maybe going a little bit deeper into the astrology. The following full moon will take place on November 5th in Taurus. That'll be on a Two of Diamonds day. The Two of Diamonds is all about compromise, business partnerships, and things of that nature. Excuse me. Um, the following new moon will be on November the 20th in Scorpio, and that is the King of Hearts Day, the card of fatherly love. Um, yeah, that's close to, some people celebrate Thanksgiving. I don't know where you are. Some people celebrate Thanksgiving around that time. Um, and so that's the energetics of what will likely be in the air. Later on that day, the sun will conjunct Mercury, and then Uranus will sextile Neptune. The full moon following that is on December the 4th in Gemini, and that is on an Ace of Diamonds day, which is the card of the desire for money, or it could indicate some new money, especially if you're playing your cards right. The next new moon will take place on December the 19th in Sagittarius on a Queen of Hearts day, and that's the card of motherly love. And just to be mindful, especially, the King of Hearts being fatherly love, and, the Queen of Hearts being motherly love, I don't think it's any coincidence that we're going to be heavily, or some of us will be heavy into different holiday traditions and time when you connect more with your family. So I don't know if I mentioned that new moon will be in Sagittarius, but yeah. The following full moon will take place on January the 3rd in Cancer. That will be on a Jack of Spades day. And the Jack of Spades is about the spiritual initiation, spiritual discipline. So God only knows, or spirit, or the universe, whoever y'all want to call it. Spirit only knows what you'll be going through that could possibly have you thinking about your spiritual discipline. The Jack of Spades can also be like a wearer of many hats. So take with that what you will. The following new moon will be January the 18th on a Nine of Diamonds day. I told you earlier that was about philanthropy and investing. This will be in Capricorn. And what I found interesting, let me see if I'm correct. Yeah, what I found interesting about that is that the prior Nine of Diamond moons were both full moons. This will be the first one into the new moon. It could also be the card of investing, and then it's in Capricorn. I said before, Capricorn is about their money. So I think you should be doing something with that if you can. The last full moon of this lunar cycle or lunar year will be on February 1st in Leo, and that will be in the Jack of Spades. Again, the card of the wear of many hats, spiritual initiation, and spiritual discipline. So I don't know. I think that's kind of interesting to end the year on that note. So do with that what you will. A few things I would like to mention that I don't think I mentioned at the beginning is that if you don't know, new moons tend to be when the moon is conjunct or, right there with the sun. And then full moons tend to be when the sun and the moon are in opposition or across the sky from one another. Remember that this is like a general overview of what I see from my perspective, and that all of these things will affect you differently depending on, who you are as a person. No one person is alike. You know, you want to look at your personal astrology, your personal natal placements, your personal card spreads, because even though you and somebody born on the same day may have the same spread, you can also be experiencing things so differently depending on so many different factors. So I hope this helps. Hope you enjoyed this, and peace. Thank you for joining me on The Cards Made Me Do It. Remember to take what resonates and leave the rest. If you found value in today's journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay in tune with the cosmos and let the cards illuminate your path. Until next time, embrace the magic within and around you. Peace.